everyone, welcome back to Beyond the Cow. Now apologies for filling your screen with this writing here. This is a bag of fiberfill stuffing. I think it's half a kilo. No, it's quarter of a kilo, 250 grams, and there's loads in it. So a nice squishy bag of fiberfill is what you will need for making your gnome. You won't need all this, not at all, but you need some fiberfill stuffing, and then you need 2 colours of worsted weight yarn. Worsted is also known as Aran weight yarn or number 4 yarn. So you need a colour for the face, so I'm going to use this beige, which you might recognise from the wristlet that I made recently, and I've got this peanut colour which I'm going to use for the body. So this will be for the body and the hat. Okay, so a colour for the face and a colour for the body and hat. And because I do often tell you what yarn I'm using, this is some of Aldi's So Crafty Aran yarn. In this it is colour peanut, and it's a huge 400 gram ball, and it's 75% acrylic and 25% wool. Now I don't use wool too much, partly because it makes me itch, but this has only got 25% in, so I can cope with that. That is doable, and it's nice and soft and squishy, and you get loads on it. This is not an advert for Aldi, this is not sponsored by Aldi, but this ball here has already made a hat for me, so an adult size hat. It's made the wristlet bag that I made about a week ago with you, and now I've still got probably half of the ball left, so it's amazing. It goes such a long way. So you need 2 colours, and the first colour you will need to work with is the colour for the face, so keep that one handy. And to go with that Aran or worsted weight yarn, you will need a 5mm hook, any type of hook you like, 5mm. You can use a different weight of yarn, just bear in mind that it will change the look slightly by using a thinner, lighter weight or a more chunky yarn, so just bear that in mind. But it's completely up to you, and whether you use acrylic, cotton, wool, whatever you want to use is up to you as well. And also bear in mind that different yarns show the stitches more, some don't show them as much, so you get different stitch definition with different fibres. So anyway, that's entirely up to you. Use the appropriate hook for your yarn weight. So but if you are using worsted Aran weight yarn, then a 5mm hook is what Amy has suggested. Then you'll need a nice chunky needle to sew in that yarn. You'll need your scissors as usual, and then you need some safety eyes. Now you can also get buttons in this kind of shape. Now if I show you, they are kind of dome shape. Okay, so you can get some buttons like this, but if this is going to go anywhere near a child, if a child is going to come anywhere near this, then safety eyes are definitely recommended. Okay, and you get them in pairs. You can get big packs of multiple sizes, or I went to my local craft haberdashery shop and they were only 10p for a pair. Now I know these are different sizes, I do have the matching ones here, but I didn't know quite what size I needed, so I got some of each size of the 2 smallest sizes, and these were only 10p a pair, bargain. So I brought a couple of pairs of each. Okay, so hopefully they'll need this bigger one, and then when I make the mini gnome I can use the little. And they come with these little plastic discs. Pop them in my hand there. They come with these little discs that you pop on this. These are ridged. They pop on there and then they cannot pull back through. Safety eyes. Okay, so that is what you need. And if you want to weight this down, say as a doorstop or something, then you will need something to fill it with to weight it down, such as glass, the glass pebbles you can get, or some dried peas or something. Okay, so you'll need that as well if you're going to weight it. I'm not going to weight mine. I'm just going to make it as it is. but you will need that as well. Okay, so the only other thing is you will probably want a cup of tea or something to drink. This isn't the fastest project ever, the shortest project, but it's enjoyable and you'll have a beautiful cute gnome at the end. So this is the last of our Members Month patterns. This is by Amy B from Keeping It Crafty. Amy designed the wristlet that we made about a week ago, and this is another of her designs. It's the last of our Members Month patterns, and then we'll be going on to something completely different. So grab all your things, grab the colour for making the face, and let's get started. Okay, we are going to start by making the nose, and we are going to start most of our rounds using a magic ring. So if you've not made the magic ring before, then just watch what I do, and hopefully you'll be fine. Just have a practice. Okay, so I'm just going to take the tail over my hand, over these two fingers like so, take the working yarn and pop it over and across over the back of my hand like so. Take your hook under the first strand, pull that second strand through, and I like to give it a twist, and then I grab this working yarn and pull through there, that twist that I made, and this is your magic ring. And making that chain means it's not going to go anywhere, it's not going to fall apart, it's completely secure. Okay, and then I like to just take that tail and pull it to make it a little smaller to work into. Okay, there's your magic ring. Rewind that and have a practice if you need to. Okay, and just to say, don't think you have to keep up with everything I'm doing. I don't crochet particularly fast, but don't feel you have to keep up with the speed. You can click on these three dots up here, they're usually up the top corner, and hit where it says playback speed, and you can slow it down. I will sound like I'm falling asleep, having my voice a lot slower, but it could help you out there having that slowed down. And also hit pause as much as you need to as well. And just also a thing I found out recently, if you're using a device with a touch screen, if you double tap on this left side, double tap on the left side of the screen, it takes you back 10 seconds. So if you want to go 20 seconds, just double tap and then double tap, and to forward 10 seconds, double tap on this right side of the screen. So if you miss something I said, you can just double tap on here on the left side and rewind 10 seconds. Very useful. Okay, so on with the pattern. We've now got our ring and our chain one. We're going to put 6 half double crochets into this ring. 6 half double crochets. Okay, there we go. So now you want to pull your ring in nice and tightly, and you're going to slip stitch to the first half double crochet. Now if you're not quite sure which is your stitch or chain, then just count back 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's this one here. Okay, and then you can slip stitch into that first stitch. The first stitch sometimes is a bit sort of curled over, so just move the yarn around and find that and do your slip stitch. Okay, first round can be a bit fiddly because it's so small, but there we go, 6 little half double crochets. Okay, round 2. Now we're not increasing as we normally would for a circle because we want this to start cupping just to make the tiny little gnome nose. So we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in that very same place that we slip stitched. Okay, so a half double crochet in there, and then 1 half double crochet in every stitch around. So you're making 6 more half double crochets this again this round. Four, 5, And did I just do a single crochet? I'm not sure if I did, but it felt like a single crochet, so I'm going to do that again just to be sure. There we go. One more. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so then what we're going to do is slip stitch to the first half double crochet. So again, ignore your chain, but count them back if you need to. If you need to, just double check that it's your stitch and not your chain. So go into that half double crochet, slip stitch, and then we're going to fasten off, leaving a nice long tail for sewing. So fasten off and leave a nice long tail. I always prefer to leave the tail much longer than I think I will need, because I've probably got about 12 inches or so. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Okay, so then what you're going to do is pull this magic circle and we're going to secure that. Okay, so I am going to take my needle and secure that. Now I'm not going to show you this on every wrong piece of yarn. I'm not going to show you this on every piece of gnome we make, but just to show you to start with what you're going to do if you've never done it. Now, because the magic ring by nature can pull open, you want to really secure this well. So go under a stitch and through, and then what I like to do is go back. So I'm going back a stitch and then through, so it's not making a knot, but it's just going back, so that can't just pull open. Okay, if you want to, you could make a knot. So I'm just going to go back another stitch. It means that the yarn can't just pull out because it's sort of getting caught back in this stitch behind it. Okay, so just secure this nicely, and this is going to be inside, so if you want to make a knot you can do, because it's not going to show. Okay, so if you do want to make a knot, it's not like having a magic circle on something that's flat and people are going to see the back of it. Okay, so there we go. And then what we're going to do is turn this the right way around. So put the right side of the stitches on the outside. There we go. There's his little nose. How cute is that? Cute, cute. Cute. Can you see that there? It's going to focus. There we go. Cute little nose. So what we're going to do is use this tail to stuff it with. Okay. So it doesn't need much stuffing because it's only tiny, so just use this beginning tail to stuff inside there. Okay, now we're not going to sew this closed or anything, we're just going to pop this and the tail that you cut at the end, we're just going to pop this aside, ready for later. Okay, so pop this aside. And then we're going to continue. Okay, we're moving along to make the arms now, and you will need both colours for this. We're going to start with colour A. This is colour A, the face colour, but we're actually making arms, okay, so skin colour, I suppose. So again, we're going to start with a magic ring. Okay, magic ring, chain 1, and then this time we're going to make 8 half double crochets in our circle. Okay, so you've seen me do 6 on the previous, this time do 8. Pause the video and make your 8 half double crochet and then slip stitch to the first half double crochet. Okay, so 8 half double crochet and slip stitch to the first. Okay, make sure you pull your magic ring nice and tightly. You've got your 8 half double crochet. There we go. Okay, so now we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 half double crochet in this first stitch, so the one where we slip stitched. We're going to make 2 half double crochets in there. 1 and 2, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2 and 3, and then 2 half double crochet in the next stitch, 1, 2, and then a half double crochet in the last 3. So 1 in each of these next 3, 2 and 3. Don't forget, what looks like a stitch is actually your slip stitch, so don't worry about that one there. And you want to slip stitch to your first half double crochet. So it might look like you're having to stretch a long way, but it's absolutely fine because we want this to start curling. Okay, so you should have 10 stitches in this round, so if you want to count back, you'll be counting 10. Okay, there we go. Okay, for the next round we are going to chain 1 excuse me, and then we're going to do a half double crochet, not in the place that we slip stitched, but in the next stitch. Okay, so we're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then a half double crochet in every stitch around, and you're going to do a half double crochet in your slip stitch. So when I said it looks a bit like a stitch, we are going to use it as a stitch on this round. So you're going to have 10 stitches all together. Okay, so we've done our first one, and then we're going to do 1 in each of the next 9, including that slip stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, now the 10th one, I said we'll do 9 more, but I'm counting 10. Confusing, sorry about that. So if you look here, you've got where your slip stitch was made, and you want to do your last stitch under that slip stitch, like so, and you should have 10 stitches now. So slip stitch into your first stitch you made, count back 10 stitches if you need to, and that is the end of round 3. Okay, in case you're wondering why we are alternating where we start, it's to keep the seam straight. So when we have a seam from our slip stitches, it just keeps that seam nice and straight. Okay, so for round 4, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in the same stitch. So this time we are going to do that half double crochet where we slip stitched. Okay, so in that first stitch, and then 1 in each stitch around. So you're going to do 10 half double crochets just as usual, and slip stitch into the first one to finish. Pause the video and I'll see you in a second. Okay, there we go, that's what we have so far. So now we're going to fasten off, so we do that as if we're going to chain 1, pull the yarn through, and this time we don't need to leave an excessively long tail because we're going to be joining the other colour. So just fasten off and secure that down. Okay. Okay, and before we go any further, I'm going to just suggest that you sew or secure your magic ring now. Okay, so just secure your magic ring as I showed you before. Okay, so there we go, we're all ready to move on. So grab your other colour. Okay, I'm going to suggest now that it might be easier to turn your work outside in, inside out, the right side, so that you're working around it more easily than trying to sort of turn these upwards to work into. So turn it the right way round, and then just stuff that tail, the magic ring tail, stuff that inside there. Okay, so now instead of working around this way from inside like this, we're working like this. This time we'll be working around this way, okay? So it's exactly the same as when we had it like this, and we'd be working in here, we're working around like so, okay? Rather than from the inside, but from the outside. Okay, so it can be a bit confusing when you turn your work the other way around. Okay, so we want to take the new yarn. We don't need an excessively long tail, just a bit to help with the stuffing. And we're going to join that in the same place that we slip stitched. So there's plenty of ways you can join your new colour, but sometimes just a simple way of just popping it through and knotting. Tying it there can be just as simple. Okay, so then pop your hook through, and then we're going to chain one. Okay, chain one, and then we are going to do a half double crochet in that same stitch, and a half double crochet in every stitch around. 10 half double crochets all together, and then slip stitch into the first half double crochet. So I will see you when I've finished. Pause the video and unpause when you've done your 10 stitches. Now before you do your slip stitch to finish the round, just make sure that this previous colour is toward the inside. You don't want that to get caught here and then do your stitch over the top. Okay, you want it on the other side. So just make sure that it's there. Okay, and then you can finish and do your slip stitch. Okay, and I'm just going to pull that loop up for a moment. So what we want to do is take these ends and we're just going to knot them together to make them nice and secure. We've already popped our tail in there from the magic ring, and then we're going to stuff these inside. Stuff these ends inside. Don't let this loop from your working stitch get caught. Stuff all this inside. And there we go. Okay, and then we're going to continue on to round 6 of this arm. Okay, so for round 6, let's pull my loop down nice and small again onto my hook. So for round 6, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to start in the next stitch. So not the one that we slip stitched into the next stitch. So this is another round where our last stitch will be made into this slip stitch. Okay, so we're going to do a half double crochet in that next stitch, and then 1 half double crochet in every stitch around, and the last one into that slip stitch, as I said. So 10 stitches, and then slip stitch into your first stitch. Pause the video and I'll see you in a sec. Okie dokie. There we go. Okay, so now for the next round, round 7, we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to do the half double crochet in the same stitch this time, in the same stitch. Okay, and then 1 in each stitch around, slip stitching to our first stitch as usual, and again you'll have 10 stitches. Okay, there we go, and then we've got one last round to make, and for that last round we're going to chain 1 and start in the next stitch. So again, this will be where you work a stitch into your slip stitch at the end. Okay, so chain 1 and do a stitch in the next stitch. 10 stitches all around, finishing in your slip stitch, and then slip stitch to the last the first half double crochet. Okie dokie, that was the last round of this arm. So what you want to do now is we're going to do that chain 1 and fasten off, leaving again a long tail. So again, about 10-12 inches. Okay, pull that tight, and then what you're going to do is take your needle and sew, using this long tail, sew this top edge closed. Okay, sew this top edge closed nice and neatly. You don't have to use any fancy stitch at all. You can just simply go under the stitch and work your way around like so. Okay, just work your way along, in and out. I'm going to work back the other way. Sorry there if I was off camera. I think I've got my camera in a slightly different place, so apologies if I have been going off camera a little. Hopefully I've not. I will double check after this, after we finish this arm. Okay, and then I'm just going to come back round and I'm going to make a tiny knot. There we go, and that knot just sort of blends in and hides itself. Okay, leave that yarn there, do not cut that yarn off. Okay, and that is your first little arm made. How cute is that? Cute, cute. So what we need to do now is make one more arm like this. Okay, so in case you're wondering, this top part of the arm is kind of flat, and then the bottom where the hand would be is more puffy from those tails. Okay, so you need to make another one like this. So rewind the video to where we began, unless you've got an incredibly great memory and can remember all that we did. Okay, so rewind the video and make another arm just the same, and then join me back when you've made that arm. So here we have two little arms, and they are so cute, cute, cute. Okay, so we have our arms and our nose ready. So pop these aside, and the next part we're going to do is the body. So you need your colour B, this body colour. Okay, so let's start on the body. Okay, we are going to start the body in the same way that we started the arms and the nose. So you want to make a magic ring and then chain one. Okay, magic ring, chain one, and then we're going to put 8 half double crochet into the ring. Okay, 8 half double crochet. Pause the video and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, 8 half double crochets, and I've pulled my ring in and slip stitched to the first half double crochet. You're going to finish every round until I say differently. You're going to finish every round by slip stitching into that first half double crochet. Okay, I am going to do a lot of this off camera and just give you the start of the round, because if not, this will take will be a very, very long video and several parts. It's probably going to be a two-parter anyway. But anyway, let's get started on the next round. So we've got 8 stitches so far, and now to start this next round, chain 1, and then you're going to do 2 half double crochet in the same stitch. So we're going to stagger our starts again from the same stitch to the next stitch, and remember, when we work in the next stitch, we work in the slip stitch as well. So this round we're going to work in the same stitch. Okay, so into that very same stitch that you slip stitched into, 1, 2 half double crochets, and then 2 half double crochets in every stitch around, and you will have 16 stitches. 16 half double crochets for round 2. Okay, round 3, we are going to do our usual chain 1, and this is the round we're going to start in the next stitch. Okay, so you'll do your very last stitch in the slip stitch this time. Okay, so chain 1, and then into the next stitch you're going to do 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, and then into the next stitch 1 half double crochet. Okay, so repeat this around the circle, 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next, 2, then 1. Oh, excuse me, 2 and then 1, 2, 1, and finishing with 1 in the slip stitch, and you'll have 24 stitches. There we go, end of round 3, 24 stitches. Okay, round 4 we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to start in that first stitch. So we're going to start in that same place we slip stitched, and we're going to do 2 half double crochet, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So we're doing a rather regular way of enlarging the flat circle, so it's quite a standard way of making a circle at the moment. Okay, so 2 in one stitch and then 1 and 1, so 2 in one stitch and then 2 separate stitches, 2, 1, 1, all the way around, and you'll have 32 stitches by the end of this round. Okie dokie, 32 stitches coming on. So round 5 we are going to do just what we've been doing, but instead of 2 stitches around 1, 2, we're going to do 3 stitches. Okay, and you're going to start in the next stitch, so start in the next stitch to where you slip stitched and do 2 half double crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2. Finish with a stitch in your slip stitch at the end, and you will have 40 stitches. And don't forget to chain 1 first, chain 1 and then start your 2 stitches in the next stitch. Okay, so this is the end of round 5 with 40 stitches now. Okay, 40 stitches. So we're going to start round 6 now, and this is where your circle will start to cup. It will start to cup in like so. Remember how the nose started to fold inwards. Okay, so and the nose and the arms actually. Okay, so what we're going to do this time is chain 1, and then we're going to do a half double crochet in the very same stitch, and this time we're going to do just 1 half double crochet in every stitch. Okay, half double crochet in every stitch, so you'll still have 40 stitches at the end of this round. Okay, here we go at the end of round 6. You can see it's starting to cup. Okay, so round 7 we are going to do we're going to start in the next stitch. We're going to again do 1 stitch in every stitch. Chain 1 first. I forget to tell you the chain 1, don't I? Chain 1 and then start in the next stitch and do 1 in each stitch, so 40 stitches. Okay, so yeah, 1 in each stitch, starting in the next, finishing in the slip stitch, 40 stitches. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 7, and as before we've got the wrong side is facing outwards like so. So just turn your work so that now you've got the right side facing outwards. Okay, and so you'll be working around the outside like so, instead of when we worked around like this from the inside. Okay, just as we did on the other 2 pieces that we've done so far. Okay, so now you're going to do 2 more rounds of chain 1, and then you're going to start in the same stitch. So this next round, chain 1, work into the same stitch and then all the way around for 40 stitches, and then on the next round chain 1 and start in the next stitch, and finish in the slip stitch. Okay, so this round, same stitch, next round, next stitch. Okay, and I will see you back here after 2 more rounds of 40 stitches. So here we are at the end of round 9, looking like a little bowl. Okay, so we're going to start and give the body of this gnome just a little bit of shape. So we're going to do a little bit of decreasing on this round. Okay, so first of all, we're going to chain 1 and then do a half double crochet in the same stitch, and then 2 more half double crochets along, 1 in each stitch. 1 in that stitch and 1 in the next stitch. So you've got 3 half double crochets all together. Okay, and now we're going to do an invisible decrease over these next 2 stitches. Okay, and it's an invisible decrease of the half double crochet. So what we're going to do, if you've not done this before, yarn over as you would for a half double crochet, and then we're going to go into the front loop only of this next stitch. Okay, just the very front loop, and then this can be a bit tricky, but you need to kind of twist your hook down and then go under the front loop only of the next stitch. Okay, so you've now got 4 loops on your hook, and then you're going to, sorry, just bear with me, my tablet was going to turn off there with the pattern. So we're going to yarn over and draw through the first 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 3 loops. Okay, so I'll show you that again. Okay, so yarn over, but make sure this loop doesn't become too big, or you will have a bit of a gap there. So yarn over, go under the front loop of the next stitch, and then twisting your hook slightly, making sure these loops don't go really big. Go under the front loop of the next stitch. You've now got 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and pull through the last 3 loops. And that's your invisible decrease for the half double crochet. My camera focus. There we go. So you've got a tiny gap there, but it's not as obvious as a regular decrease. Okay, so I'll show you that again when we come back around. So we're going to do 3 half double crochets along, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do that invisible decrease. So yarn over, go into the front loop of the next stitch, twist your hook down and go under the next front loop, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull through those last 3 loops. Okay, and you can see that we did that last one back here, and actually they all look fairly similar. You can't really single out which one was the decrease. Okay, so continue round, 3 half double crochets, and then an invisible decrease. I'll show you once more. Yarn over, go under the first, the front loop of the next stitch, sorry. Okay, and then twist and under the next front loop, 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3, and then 3 more half double crochet. Like so. And now I'll show you what we have. Where are those decreases? Is it easy to spot those decreases? No. All looks pretty much the same. Beauty of invisible decreasing. So now you're going to continue working around. We've just done 3 half double crochets, so you need to do an invisible decrease over the next 2 stitches, and then 3 half double crochets, invisible decrease, 3 half double crochets. Okay, all the way around, and you will be finishing with the invisible decrease and then slip stitch into your first stitch. Okay, at the end of round 10, which we've just done, you will have 32 stitches, and making those decreases has just made it pull in very slightly. You see this shape just curving in very slightly, so we've taken it down by 8 stitches. So there we go. So this body is just starting to get a little bit of shape. Okay, so round 11, we're going to do 1 stitch in each stitch. Okay, so we're going to start in the next stitch along. So you know how to do this round by now. Chain 1 and then half double crochet in the next stitch, and 1 half double crochet in every stitch, and finish in the slip stitch there. So you'll have 32 stitches at the end of this round. There we go, end of that round 11, 32 stitches. Okay, so for round 12, you're going to do exactly the same, but starting in the next stitch. Okay, so chain 1 and then, no, sorry, not the next stitch, chain 1 and then half double crochet in the same stitch, all the way around. And then the next round, round 13, you're going to do exactly the same, but start in the next stitch. So this round we're starting in the same stitch, and the next round you'll be starting in the next stitch. Okay, both rounds are 32 stitches. So I'll see you after 2 more rounds. Okay, here I am at the end of round 13. So that is our 13 round, and you can see that just taking it in on that one row has just given it a nice sort of shape, just coming in with a nice shape really nicely. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do now is fasten off this colour. So just put my hook back in. So you know how we've been fastening off, as if we're going to do a chain, but then pulling the yarn through. Now you don't need to leave an exceptionally long tail this time, because we're not going to use this one for sewing. So just pull that through. Okay. Now I'm really sorry that I told you to turn your work around for the right side out, because we need to turn it inside out, because we need to secure our magic ring. Okay, so just secure your magic ring as you have done on the other pieces. Okay, and I'll see you when I've done mine. Okay, so magic ring tail is nice and secure, so we're going to keep this with the wrong side facing out just for now. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I'm just going to show you a part of the stitch. Now with half double crochets on the wrong side, this is the wrong side facing us, we have this bar. Okay, we have this loop. Okay, so normally if you're working on the wrong side and going through a stitch, you go through here and you've got those 2 loops. Okay, you see those 2 top loops there. Grab the hook, show you. Okay, so normally you've got those top 2 loops there. Okay, but instead of that, you've got this back bar. Okay, got this bar here. This is the back of the stitch, but it's facing us, so we're just going to call it the front bar or the bar. Okay, all the way around you've got, if you look, there's actually a line of this bar all the way around, and this is from that yarn over that we do at the beginning of the half double crochet. So what we're going to do is take your other colour, take your other colour, and then we're going to join that in that front bar on the just underneath the last stitch where we fastened off. So it might be quite hard to see because this bar, camera focus, is quite small because we've slip stitched. If you can get under there and into that bar, and then join your other colour in there. So I'm just going to use my very fancy way of joining a new colour just by tying it on. Okay, doesn't need to be anything fancy on this particular pattern because no one's going to see it. Okay, so then what we are going to do, move the needle out of the way, it's going to go back under that bar, and we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to work around in those front bars, okay, and we're going to do a half double crochet in the very same stitch we've just done that joining in. So if you have got a very small loop, just again keep encouraging your hook through there and do your half double crochet, okay, and then you're going to do a half double crochet in each front loop, okay, each front bar, sorry. So go to the next stitch, find that front bar, and do your half double crochet, and then the next one all the way around, and you'll have 32 stitches again on this round. You just keep going until you have reached the end of the round, and then I will meet you back to finish off this particular round. Okay, here we go. I'm at the end of that round. I've only got what would be the slip stitch left, so I've done all my stitches. Now remember when we joined a new yarn before, and I said make sure that you're not working over the top of this tail. Do you remember I said that? I said don't work over the top of the tail. This time you need to, because if you flip this, in my case brown tail over, that will be on the right side of the work. Okay, so make sure that the tail of the body colour is facing you. Make sure it's towards you, and that you're doing the slip stitch over the top of those yarns. Okay, make sure both are towards you, and then do your slip stitch. So just make sure they are towards you, or they'll be on the outside, which is no great big deal if you have done that, because we can you can always just pop a hook through and pull them through, or use a needle. Okay, so that is the end of that round. So just pull your loop up and then turn your work the other way around, so we've got the right side facing us again, as we did before, because I did it too soon, I was too eager. Okay, so just tuck those tails in the bottom there, and now you can see the result of working in that front or back bar. You can see the result of that. We get this beautiful seam around here. Beautiful. We've got the front we've got the top 2 loops of those half double crochets making a nice neat edge around here, and then we've got where the face or the head is joining, just slightly set back there. Beautiful. If I turn this to the side, can you see where there's that slight sort of dip in? So this beige colour is set slightly further back than the brown. Beautiful. Great technique. Well done, Amy. Great technique there. Okay, so those ends are inside. That's why we needed them that side rather than this side. Okay, so we are going to continue, and I don't suppose we can really call this the body quite so much now. This is more like we're doing the head, the face. Okay, now depending on how you've joined your colours of yarn, how you've fastened off and how you've joined your new one, just tie those two tails together just to make sure they are nice and secure, and then pop them inside. And we will move on to the next round. Okay, now when we did this round here, we were working from this side and working around. And now that we've turned our work around to the right side, we're going to be working back along these stitches, okay? So when we do our first chain, and then we're going to do our first stitch, and it will be in this same place here that we've just that we previously worked into on the other side. Okay, so we're going to go into there and do a half double crochet. So we are effectively working through the back of the stitches now. Okay, so they will look slightly different to how you've been used to on all these other rounds, but hey. So we're going to do 1 into each stitch, making 32 altogether, and slip stitch into that first stitch just as you normally would. So I'll see you at the end of this round. Okay, here we go at the end of round 15. There we go. Okay, we're going to do another round, and this time it will be the round that starts in the next stitch and finishes in the slip stitch. Okay, so you know how to do it. Chain 1 and then a half double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, 32 half double crochet all the way around. See you in a mo. And there we go at the end of round 16. There we go. Looking good, looking good, looking good. So we are now going to take the hook out of our loop, and then don't fasten off. You want to grab a stitch marker. I'm just finding my stitch markers here. Okay, so grab a stitch marker and pop on there just to secure that loop. Okay, there we go. So that loop's not going to go anywhere now. And obviously where we've got this seam, you can't see a huge amount of seam. Oh gosh, excuse me. You can't see a huge amount of seam, but that is obviously the back, so this is the front. So we are going to attach the nose. So grab your nose, I was going to say. Grab the nose that you've made, and I'll come back to you in a second.